Hello students, welcome to Notebook. Think of the newspapers and news websites of today. What is their role? They keep us updated on day-to-day events and happenings around the world. Newspapers help us understand the political, social and cultural life of the nation and the world. 100 and 200 years from now, these newspapers will serve as relevant historical documents. National and state libraries archive, save or store old newspapers, and we often go back to them to find out or research about a past age or period. In the 12th and 13th centuries, there were no newspapers. How was the political life of the age documented? The Tawarikh or Tawarikh recorded the rule of the administrators. They were written in Persian. Persian was the language of the rulers of the Delhi Sultanate. The authors of these Tawarikh or histories were city dwellers. They expected high rewards from the rulers for writing the Tawarikh. They were learned men whom the rulers trusted. So, they had the power to advise the rulers about governance. One such chronicler was Minaji Siraj. He recognized the talent and capability of the new Sultan Razia, who was the previous Sultan Iltutmish's daughter. However, he thought that a queen should not rule a kingdom. It was a task which suited men or kings better. The nobles, who were all men, too did not like being ruled by a queen. So she was removed from the throne in 1240. The society in which Minaji Siraj lived had not progressed and believed that women were weaker and inferior to men. Let us now have a look at the background in which these chroniclers wrote their chronicles or records of the age. Minaji Siraj wrote during the rule of the early Turkish kings. This timeline of the rulers of Delhi will make Siraj's background clearer. This also tells us that Delhi became the capital city during the reign of the Tomara Rajputs in the 12th century. The Tomaras were defeated by the Chauhans of Ajmer. These two Rajput dynasties together made Delhi an important commercial and cultural center. They built temples and circulated coins called Deliwal. There is a funny myth or tale about the name of the city Delhi. Some say that it comes from the Hindi Prakrit word Dilli, which means loose. The Tomaras supposedly called the city Delhi because the iron pillar of Delhi had a weak foundation and had to be removed. The Delhi Sultanate was an Islamic empire based in Delhi, formed in the 13th century by the early Turkish or Mamluk rulers. A former Turkish Mamluk slave, Kutubuddin Aybak, was the first Delhi Sultan. The Turks were followed by the Khalji dynasty, the Tughlaq dynasty, the Sayyid, and the Lodhi dynasty. These 5 ruling dynasties are called the Delhi Sultanate. We'll now talk about how the early rulers of the Delhi Sultanate expanded their empire beyond Delhi. In the early 13th century, rulers of the Sultanate found it difficult to govern the hinterland or lands which lay adjacent to the main city. These hinterlands usually supplied the cities with goods and other services. But since the sultans usually did not have any control over them, so they depended on trade, tribute, or complimentary services. They also sometimes raided or robbed their hinterlands. The control of the Delhi Sultans was limited to the garrison town. A garrison town refers to a developed and fortified settlement with soldiers. Further, they had no control over distant garrison towns in Bengal. Their authority or rule was challenged or interrupted by protesting governors and uprisings of the common people. Their rule also suffered because of outside invasions by the Mongols of Afghanistan. the rulers had to do something to change the situation and make their control over the subcontinent stronger. So they expanded the empire along the internal frontier and external frontier. The internal frontier expansion or campaigns happened in the hinterland of the garrison towns. The rulers gained control over the hinterland by clearing forests in the Ganga-Yamuna region. They developed agriculture in these places by giving lands to peasants. They also built new fortresses and garrison towns and promoted regional and external trade. The external frontier of the Sultanate was expanded through military expeditions to distant places in southern India. Alauddin Khalji first started expansion along external frontier, and it continued till the time of Muhammad Tughlaq. The armies of the Sultanate captured elephants, horses, and slaves, stole precious metals, defeated rival armies, and captured or seized their cities. The sultanates collected taxes from the peasants and took decisions regarding law, order, and justice. They had the responsibility of securing justice for the people of their empire. We just talked about how the sultans expanded their empire by capturing different territories. In our next video, we'll find out how the Khaljis and the Tughlaqs governed or ruled their empire. All these cover the political life of the rulers. Meanwhile, try to find out about the cultural and religious beliefs and practices of the rulers. I will leave you with this image of the Begumpuri Mosque or Masjid built during the time of Muhammad Tughlaq.